Hi everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about mold, disease, and funguses that you might see in your yard. Here in the Midwest, we've had a lot of rain early in the spring, and while a lot of that started to even out for a lot of the country, here in Minnesota we have seen about 6 to 8 inches of rain per week over the past few weeks. So at this point, I do have a little bit of dollar spot creeping into my yard, and this is really easy to identify by looking at the grass plant. You'll actually just start to notice that the leaves itself have small yellow discoloration on it, and this will actually go all the way down the blade of the grass. So we do want to actually apply a product to go ahead and take this out of the yard. So I'm going to show you what I apply here on my yard today and how to do that. But what I would recommend is every single zone does have different diseases. And there are about 5 really common types of diseases that you can find, but there are several more beyond that. So if you're not sure what diseases might be common in your zone or your area where you live, it might be good just to go online, do a little bit of research on your own, and figure out what diseases might creep into your lawn and how they got there. First thing, like we talked about, I've had a lot of rain and moisture here, so I'm getting some disease just straight up from humidity and moisture on the plant of my grass. This can either come from a lot of rain like we've had, or if your sprinkler system is running too much or at the wrong times, you can also start to see mold creep in. One good rule of thumb here too is if you do see something that's white in color, like a fungus or a mold in your yard down below the grass, that's not something usually to be too concerned about. Or if you see mushrooms in your yard, that's not a massive concern that we have. But any discoloration in the plant, any sort of prolonged sagging in the grass, or if you actually start to notice some of that grass dying off or it's easy to pull out of the ground, that's something that we do want to address. So I'm going to show you what I'm putting on my lawn here today to combat this dollar spot, and that's Scott's Disease X. This is a product that I've used annually for the past several seasons. Typically the reason I'm using it is I do have a low spot in my yard. I do have a really thick grass, and given in the late summer months here in Minnesota, it does get really humid, and that can lead to breeding grounds for mold like we talked about. So what I like about this Scott's Disease X product is it will address common types of mold in your yard, and you do want to make sure that if you have something in your yard that this product will actually help you with that. But we'll show you what we're going to do here today. So first things first, make sure that you do understand the size of your yard and the square footage and how much product that you actually want to apply. With this product, there's 2 different ways that you can use it. You can use it in a preventative mode, where if you notice that year after year you do get disease at a similar time, you can go ahead and put this down at a lower application rate to prevent any of that disease from creeping in. Now, I'm going to use it today in a curative mode since we do already have it in the yard. So I have about 6 bags of this that I've purchased for my entire yard that I'll go ahead and spread over the yard. So like normal, you just want to evenly walk this over your yard and make sure that you're applying the appropriate amount of product per square foot. Then this specific product does actually require that it's watered into the lawn within 24 hours after usage. So a lot of times when we have a humid, wet lawn, it can seem counterintuitive to actually put water on top of it. But this product, we want to get it watered and down to the root of the plant so it can actually start being absorbed into the plant and then growing up. This product will last about 4 weeks as well, so it will continue to work over that time. I've noticed when I put it down about 7 to 10 days after application, it's really nice. I start to mow those clippings. Once again, anytime you have disease in the lawn, you do want to make sure that you're bagging those clippings and taking that out of the lawn so we aren't, encouraging any more disease to spread throughout the yard. But like I said, after about 7 to 10 days, you'll start to notice some results. And about 2 to 3 weeks later, you should have seen that plant grow out fully where you've cut it off multiple times, and that disease should come out of the lawn at that point. Now, as much as I don't like to apply products like this over and over again throughout the year, this is something that I usually apply about once, maybe twice if we have a radical extreme weather event like we've had this year. But I always go back to this one thing. If you haven't done a soil test on your yard this season, I would still recommend that you do that, because one of the biggest ways for a lawn to be ruined is through disease. And truthfully, an unhealthy, unbalanced lawn that doesn't have the right nutrients is going to be susceptible to disease. Also, same thing, just a little pro tip for you. Go out in your area and Google what disease might be prevalent where you live. Being that I'm here in Minnesota, if you're down south or out on the West Coast, you may have different things that creep into your yard, and it's really helpful to be familiar with what some of those are. But a good rule of thumb is anytime you see any sort of discoloration in your yard, pay attention to it. At least just go over and take a look at the health of the plant, look down through the grass by the root, and see what might be going on in there. So I hope you found this video helpful today. Really simple steps that can ensure all of our hard work stays nice and healthy throughout the season. So thanks for joining me out on my lawn today. Now, go ahead and get out on yours.